Welcome to Her Story Untold Studios, where we bring you powerful stories of resilience, healing, and growth. I'm your host, Tanirpw, and today's episode dives into childhood trauma. So, finding hope and renewal through an unexpected past life experience. My guest will be getting into that. She's here to share her journey and the deep brokenness that she has endured. She's here to share not only just her journey, but the insights she gained along the way. Before we get into this video, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. So I'm going to allow my guest to introduce herself, where she's from, and give us a little background about her.
Hi, I'm Ameenah Thobani, and I live in Vancouver, Canada. But I am originally from Karachi, Pakistan, very much South Asian. And in South Asian culture, it's almost like a parent-focused parenting rather than child-focused. So here, I'm not demonizing parents. I'm not demonizing anybody. It's just the experience of the children. So I am a clinical hypnotherapist, a past life regressionist, and a Reiki master and a spiritual coach. And I am working in this mind dynamic field since last 20 years now. So a lot of experience working initially with my own traumas and then coming up as a resilient, powerful soul that can now help others to understand themselves first. And when you understand your pain, you're able to process that. So, yeah, here it is me.
Okay, so let's get into it. Can you share a little bit about the childhood trauma you went through growing up?
Hmm. So, so now because I have already processed that pain and emotion, so I am not very much attached to the trauma, but now it's my powerful story. When I was born, I was a third girl child of my parent, and nobody told me that you are unwelcomed and you were not wanted. But in my therapies, hypnotherapies, I actually came to know about this, that my mom was very much expecting a boy, which is very natural, that after one gender, you want another one. So at my birth, as a child, as a baby, felt rejected. Though when I was growing up, nobody told me, but it was just my feeling because I was not welcomed. And you are very much attached to your mother when you are born because you are the part of it. Uh, then, when I was 2.5 years old, I was adopted by my aunt because my uncle died and she was all alone. And when I grew up, I understand my parents wanted to help her. But as a child, it was devastating because I was now separated from my siblings and my family. And I was growing up with my aunt. She loved me to bits. She provided me everything, but the vacuum of not belonging was there. I did not even know about it. And I could not make sense that I was a middle child, two older siblings and two younger siblings, and all are girls. Why me being given to my aunt? Because I always knew that they are my real parents. My aunt is my aunt, but I call her mom because I was living
Right.
with her. So that the pain, but it was in the unconscious or subconscious mind. And I was always trying to please my dad or try to be get their attention, but did not know at that point that why I am doing that. Then I was only in my teens, late teens, and first heartbroken, the first sweetheart love in the school. And I was in so much pain and I was meditating. Here, I want to add one more thing that I was always into meditation because that was one of the practices and ritual that we all as a family does. I belong to the Sufi sect of Islam, where meditation is very much an integral part of our growing up and the rituals. So the meditation was like, everyday thing, and we sit with ourselves and, whatever the hurt. And so that was not a very constructive way in the beginning because it was everybody is doing and you are
Right.
doing. But as the year pass, when there's so much pain, then you connect to your inner self, right? And then you can connect to your higher self. So at that point, at that moment when I was really broken, and I thought that that was the pain, but actually that was the trigger of abandonment, which I already had when I was a
Right.
baby. So that actually led me to my first glimpse of past life. And in my meditation, I regressed by myself, and it was so fearful in the beginning because I did not even know what it is as a newly introduced to that the eternity of souls actually, and that gave me insight and hope as well. So I actually stick onto the other part, which was hope and insight, and I started looking at how I'm going to find more about it. Is it really true? Is this really happen? you know and then in that quest, I was actually, when I was looking to find the answers and solution, I was actually being getting all the proofs of those names when I saw that in my past life coming up so vividly. On sometimes somebody just introduced themselves that I am this and the same name, and sometime in the shopping I see the brand name. So it was like giving me more and more confidence that I'm going in the right direction. And I found my first teacher. By then he was hypnotherapist, and I actually reached out to him and I asked him, and he was like, very much, yes. And then we went to one session with him of past life regression, and I was fascinated that I understood the dynamic I was in, and that was my chosen path, my soul path, I would say. And I'm very much understanding because when you're born, you forget everything, right? So it was the triggers that has been set for us to actually pick those or let it go. And then we wait for another milestone in our life where we can again be jolt that, okay, now are you ready to be awakened? So for me, I would say that I was basically maybe fortunate or blessed because of already doing the meditations. I actually get that okay, I have to go to that, and it was an opening for me to understand that the traumas are not just coming from this lifetime, and it's from many many lifetimes, and I have to be awakened so I can be on my soul purpose. And my soul purpose was always to actually awaken the people too, to motivate them for their own power, to bring them to the center. And then there are, so many lifetimes that I actually stumble upon while doing the work. And one of them was I was the right hand of Nefertiti, queen in Egypt. And my only work was to go to the people and tell them that they are very powerful and they can do what they ever want to do. The welfare of the people were very much of my task at that time. So I personally believe that I actually brought that here. So this is all about past life, and I do understand, but again, my present life was also very traumatic. Now, how I'm going to work on that? So actually, one after another, I understand that, okay, we are talking about the spiritual aspect of it, but did I overcome my present day blocks, my present day issues, which is very much related to this lifetime's childhood? So that was a long journey where I actually came to, again, hypnotherapy was one of the tools that I really, really worked with. not just on myself. And when I needed help, I went for my colleagues who are doing the same work. And I personally believe that it actually opened a lot of understanding and a lot of compassion for first myself and then for my parents too. But it was always like that? No. First, it was numbness, which is a very natural shield that we put on, where we don't feel anything. And then it was perfection, that I want to be perfect so everybody accepts me. And that again fails because we are killing ourselves to be perfect, because there is nothing that we can call perfect except the wholeness, you know. So that was the basic shields that I was carrying on myself. And I thought, okay, I had that spiritual experience, but there was something that was still stuck, and I did not know what. And that was actually leading me towards that how I can combine mind body too with that soul experience. So my mind was very much getting reprogrammed, because of course I did know at that time, I did not know first that why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, but in that process I did understand that, okay, because I am separated, and there is always this, that why I am different. And for our child, it is very devastating if the child feels that they are not one with their peers or the family. It just feel they are
Right.
faulty. They have some fault. That's why they are different, right? So that wound was basically creating another wound that was, okay, I have to work extra to get an attention. And initially it started with my family, but it went into my relationships where I was doing extra for no reason, where, people approach me for relationship. But when I say yes, I just feel in my heart that, oh, this is too good to be true. This guy is so handsome. This guy is so good. And why me? So that's mean I have to work extra so we can stay in a relationship,
Right.
right? And that life was too much burden because I was not feeling that enoughness within myself. I didn't feel worthy of love, and it didn't work. And that's when nothing worked, because I was not loving myself enough. So that was first heartbreak, then second heartbreak. And that was a cycle which I also receive from people, that they are stuck. And I feel very much resonated with that, because I was stuck
Right.
in that continuous cycle where I was rejected and rejected and rejected. And that pain led me to the opening. And yes, I took the step and the action, which is very much necessary, that if we get this awakening, we have to work on that. We have to actually listen to that and go to the next action that can help us to resolve that what we are facing, and having that issue. So for me, it was the opening through the past life, yes. But then there was my reflection that came after that opening, that still why I don't feel enough. I do understand, but I still have that anger within myself, and that feeling of being treated unfairly, unjust. So these are all the traumas. And that actually helped me to go into my trainings, that, okay, I have to first understand that from where, what is the root cause of it. When I'm working, I am doing this, I'm doing that, and I'm meditating a
Right.
lot, but still it's not resolved. So my understanding and my learning is that through meditation you can find a way, but to walk on the way you do need guidance and support. And once you understand the dynamic, then you will be on your own to, to explore that who you are.
Okay. So, can you give me and the audience a little more insight about what hypnotherapy and past life regression really is, and how these two methods can complement each other?
Okay, so basically, it's called regression therapy because we are basically going to regress. whether it's a past life or whether it's a childhood. So when someone comes to me and they say that I don't know, I'm stuck and I want to try hypnotherapy. So there are different kinds of hypnotherapy. So one is called traditional hypnotherapy, where it is basically very much like a guided meditations, where we are actually relaxing the conscious mind and just going into the subconscious mind to feel relaxed, and then whatever needed to be resolved, it resolved, but it at its own time. We don't know how much time it will take. Then it's a regression therapy. Regression therapy, I'm basically a rapid transformation therapist, and I got trained by Marissa Peer, which is a very famous figure. And in regression therapy, we actually go to the root cause. Like, okay, I had an experience when I was only 2 years old. I did not even remember when I was an old person. Okay, I'm an adult. I didn't even know. In hypnotherapy, because your subconscious mind is also, you can say, it's a memory box, which is everything is saved over there. So when you are conscious mind, that only job is to make sense of things, right? So if you surpass that and you go into that memory box and you have the feeling that is still the same. So our feeling doesn't change. The event can change. The feeling is still that I feel blocked or stuck. When was the first time I felt that feeling? So this body is telling me this feeling. The mind, subconscious mind, has all the answers. So we pave that path through that feelings, and that's what triggers do, and the glimmers do. So the triggers are basically the block emotion which needed to come out, and the glimmers are basically the happy moments that we faced when we were children that wanted to come out. When we are happy, we remember all the happy things that happened to us. When we are disturbed and sad, we do, like people say, oh, train of thoughts, and then you don't know that how you went there when you are not thinking about that. So hypnotherapy is one tool, and of course I do work with different tool, which is EFT, NLP, that is neuro linguistic programming, and a lot of spiritual work in this. So when we are basically going to go to the layers, the trauma also comes in layers. So when I faced trauma when I was born, then I faced trauma when I was 2 years old. Then I faced trauma in that process whenever I got rejected with the teachers, with my siblings and my friends and whoever. And that was all the layer. And that was making and reinforcing my first belief that I am not important. Nobody cares about me. And I am having that some kind of fault. That's why nobody likes me. And you often hear that from children, nobody likes me and I don't have any friends. So these are the little things that comes in the layer, and hypnotherapy actually peels off those layers. Our subconscious mind is so powerful. It's the 95% of everyday things we do, and only the 5% our conscious mind takes on. And we are, as a human, hardwired to protect ourselves, and subconscious mind's only job is to protect us, to keep us safe. And we are wired to actually scan for threats all the time. But if we tell ourselves and reprogram ourselves that I am safe, it's not a threat. But how that comes to you is basically, if you are feeling safe in your childhood, this is how you're programmed. But if you're not feeling safe in the childhood, and I'm not saying the physical abuse, it can be anything where parents are busy and they don't make their children feel they are important, or something like me, or something that can be similar to that, where of the children doesn't have that strong anchor that I can always go back to my parents and tell them how I feel. Because in basically in our culture, it's always like parents are always right, and we basically see our parents as god, that they can't be wrong. But we all are human. Our parents were human too, and they can make mistakes. They did mistakes too,
Yeah.
right? But because we see them as God, we cannot accept that they can make mistakes. So we think that this is our fault. This is us who has issues and problems. And from there, we are actually getting into that trap that I am faulty, I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, and shattered self esteem and confidence.
Wow, this is so true. I actually read the Four Agreements, and you talk about how the kids look up to the parents as God. And that's so true. That's so true. It's like they look to us for everything, right? So, can you
Yeah.
describe, Ameenah, the initial experience during your meditation and what shifted for you afterwards?
Okay. Yeah. So my first, and it was like, I can also tell you that the experience I had was the half of it. And the half of the same experience I got, where I got more understanding, was after 20 years of that experience. So initially, I saw that I was in a war field and I was a very, um, bubbly kind of a person. And I was a male and I was involved with one woman who thought that I love her. And, but I never did say that I love you.
Mhm.
Okay. And then I went to the war, and in war, I died and I didn't come back. And here I created a karma with this woman. Her name was Zuleika at that time. And I said, I will come back. And I did not. Okay. And here she thought that I betrayed her and I disappeared. And that was one thing, because at that time I also had the heartache, because I told you I had an experience when I was rejected by my boyfriend, and it was basically similar feeling. Okay. So that was it. And I was looking for Zulekha because it was so strange for me to see that kind of settings and that kind of, because I was never into movies, and where you have some understanding, oh, maybe it's something that your brain is
Right.
making up. It was not. I checked some facts. It was some 15th century, and oh my god, it was like everything that was setting at its place when I had this experience. Then I was seeing Zuleka name everywhere. And when I did my hypnotherapy session, it actually came to me that my adopted mom, she is Zuleka. So now can you see the dynamics? That I promised her I will come back, but I did not, and I died. And in this life, I didn't born to her, but after 2.5 years, my parents gave me to her. So I came back to her, but the roles were different this time. And she was still the same loving person for me, where she did everything for me, every single thing for me. You can even, my biological mother was used to say that I can't do that much for you, what she did for you. So that was again a fascinating part for me, that understanding of that role, where I felt that why I got rejected. So I understood that because I created that unconsciously, that karma, where I rejected somebody unknowingly.
Wow.
And then again, my innocence, as because I did not wanted that, but it happened because I was not even alive. And then after 20 years, I actually, the half part was that I got, so there was an injury in my ankle, and it was always there until I had my second part of my experience, where I was actually wounded and my leg was severely injured. I was maimed. So, my the person who is like the head of the group that decide that what to do, so he actually said that we don't have resources to take the injured person to back home, so we have to leave him here. And the death, I saw myself leaving my body in that lifetime, but it was so painful. It was so lonely. It was so brutal because it was a desert where I've been left alone to die, because I was not capable of moving. And the decision that was made at that time by the head of the group, um, she is my sister in this lifetime. And I always had issue with my older sister, always. But with this second part, when it just stumbled upon me, I did realize, oh, okay, that was a pain that I'm having in my leg all the time. And I have to resolve this with my sister in this lifetime. Otherwise, I'm coming back with her in some kind of dynamic again. And in this lifetime, I was having a lot of I would say that there's always something within us that could not be resolved. It's always unexplained anger, resentment, something. But soon after that, uh you know I don't know, she also sent me the message that please forgive me if I have any done anything wrong to you. And I was like, huh, why is she sending me this? That's mean, yes, we are energetically connected in all those
Right.
lifetimes, and we are coming back again and until we learn the lesson of kindness, compassion, and oneness.
I am speechless right now. Okay. I am so speechless because some of the things that you're saying, I heard this before, and it's definitely confirmation. So if you are set to be here, right, and you have a purpose to fulfill, and you don't fulfill it the first time, you're telling me that you will be back again. You can have the same siblings, you can have the people around you until you complete the task.
Yes, very much, because we are all here to experience this humanly
Mhm.
existence, whether it's all kind of emotions we have to experience. And we are the one who sign our soul contract that okay, I can take this much and I will be remembering all that. But this is the challenge that when we are born we forget
Right.
everything. And but there are definitely milestone sets for us that we should remember who we are and why we are here. And it's all up to the individual that how we are living our life in this lifetime to actually live that purpose. Initially nobody knows. A baby comes with only autonomous system, that is to breathe, to poo, to eat. That's it. And everything else we get is the conditioning we get in our childhood, like how the environment is treating us, and we are learning through that. But we have a soul that is more powerful than any of the conditioning, and that's why we get the jolt. Everybody did do get that when they have some triggers and this and that. So it's the indication that look within. There is something lying that needed your attention. So again, similarly, when we are talking about the soul expression, when we are talking about that we chose that experience and we are actually forgetting everything and we are not fulfilling that, we are here for a purpose and we are not aware of that purpose, then we have this milestone set we did set with our guardian angels and the soul guides that okay, this time if I forget, this time I will remember. Or maybe this time I'll remember. If I forget, I didn't pick up, I'll pick up there. I'll pick up there. Like that.
Mhm.
Okay, but we didn't in our whole life. And when we go back, we all do that transition and we cannot deny that fact. But when we are living, we forget that we have to go back. It's very common that I see people that, they don't realize and they are scared when we talk about death,
Right.
right? But it's a transition when they go for this transition, and then it's not that you have been scolded and be punished while you're in the, it's all about that, oh my god, I actually wasted my whole lifetime where I got a lot of chances to get over what I wanted to. And then it's okay, it's okay, you can go back. So uh, according to my teachers, every soul have an experience of 800 lifetimes. and it can be little more or little less, but we all do come to that level of awareness when we experience all those, from that beginning, from that, the smallest things that is on the earth, to experience that, to the human being that has intellect and who can choose their life, who has the ability to actually create their own life through. We have a lot of power as human. We can think, we can manifest, we can create. We are much on a higher scale and vibration if we want to. We can go into that angelic realm as well if we understand that how energy work, how our mind work, and how we can utilize that to raise our vibration through those emotions, that is joy, happiness, and all these frequency where we can feel that oneness. So that's how we raised our vibrations and be in that realm.
Wow. Wow. So 800 lives. So by you doing hypnotherapy, have you seen, is it something that you can see? Like you said, it was a pain in your leg, your sister, or, you needed to talk to your sister and forgive her, and then she reached out to you. Are you able to see that with people who come to you for hypnotherapy, like things that they went through from their past?
So more than me, they do. I facilitate them, how to go there. Excuse me. So the subconscious mind has all the memories, all the lifetimes and everything, and our higher self is always there to help us, right? So your experience is very much individual experience for yourself. Okay, I can be your guide to getting you to that point where you can make sense of things, that, oh wow, yeah, like this. I might be giving you some clues where you are actually picking up the clues and then making it, like solving the puzzles. So it is same like that. Your subconscious mind absolutely knows everything, and my job as a hypnotherapist is to guide you to connect with that without any hindrance. And that's what our job is when we do even you know trauma therapy, that we actually bring the center and the power within yourself, because it is there. It's just that we feel disconnected to it, the light we have, right? The authenticity, I would say, that because of those layers, we forget the light within us. And what is that? This is our unique expression, the authenticity, the authentic us. So that actually gives you power when you feel that you are no longer feel that pressure to fit in or to do things that other wanted you. You have a strong boundaries for yourself because you listen to yourself. You understand who you are. And that's where the power of authenticity takes place.
Wow. So, what role does spirituality play in your healing journey?
Okay, so spirituality, I would also say it's authenticity, because we are actually, it's not a woo woo thing. It's very much in our daily life. Okay, and then we are basically, if we are living who we are, right? If I am able to say no, then it is where I'm coming from, where I don't have conflict within myself, within my soul and my mind, that is telling me that do this and do that. We always hear that, right? There are two voices that is coming, that you can do this or you cannot do this. Oh, be fearful of that. Oh, this is dangerous. Oh, no, no, you can do that. It's fine. Now it's done. Now you can have. So, what is a stronger voice you have, right? So this is where I personally feel that we should have a hygiene for sure, discipline, where I would say that connecting to the deep core of you is through meditation, is through self reflection. If you don't do self reflection, you can get older, but you will not change. So you cannot get that wisdom when you're growing up. So that is very important and the core thing. So spirituality is teaching us to live our power, our uniqueness, our authenticity, and that's it. And we can be in the flow of the universe because we are not separate. We are genuinely connected to that. And we don't have to strive for anything. Everything comes to us because now we are the true expression and we accept that who we are. And who we are light. We are here to experience. Everything that we experience has a purpose to it, whether somebody hurts you. If I can look back, my first heartbreak, if it didn't happen, then I could not be who I am I right now. Maybe I would be lost. Maybe I don't know where I would be at this time. But now I think that I gained the wisdom just because of that pain, that hurt. Like Rumi said, um, crack is the place from where the light enters into your heart, right? So maybe that moment was needed for my enlightenment, for my journey to be who am I right now. So I personally feel that we don't know consciously, but unconsciously we are very much aware that it's all about spiritual realm. It's all about spirituality. It's all about that limitless experiences and opportunities that lies when we are who we are without any pressure.
So, if someone is listening today and they're struggling with unresolved trauma, but isn't sure where to begin their healing journey, what would the first steps be? Like that you would recommend?
Okay, so I would definitely recommend some somatic and mind and because if we are only looking into one part of it, that I often see when people are just telling me, oh, we are doing meditation, but we are still stuck, right? So you will be not open until you are ready to go into that shadow work where the pain is, the root cause of your being stuck at that moment. So I would definitely suggest that this is the strongest part, that healing in this lifetime with the trauma, meditations and spiritually give you the way. But when you're working with your pain and the trauma that needs that specific expertise to work with that stuckness or the traumas, needs professional help to go into that place and work through it. That is if you really want to just get rid of whatever you felt and see that from a different perspective. So professional help is very, very important. And then second thing, I would definitely emphasize on self-reflection, a lot of journaling, a lot of setting healthy boundaries, and listening to actually yourself, and of course, be compassionate towards yourself, because we often forget that part, that we are so good to the world, but we are so harsh to ourselves. And for the smallest thing we are actually bashing ourselves, that why I didn't do that. If I for if I could not speak daily just now in this podcast, and my mind was like, oh my god, now how everybody will perceive and this and that, we can't forgive ourselves. Maybe nobody noticed that, but I did, and very harshly I did. So we have to have that compassion for ourselves. It's okay. We are
Right.
human. We all can do mistakes. We all can stumble upon, but the only thing that is important is getting up. So if you get that call, if you feel that I am stuck and I don't know why I am just in that cyclic thing, I would strongly suggest that just follow that why, and that why will lead you to the resources. And my clients often say that one client came from a psychic, so she was working with a psychic, and then the psychic said that, oh, you need something like that, you know I don't know anybody, but she looked upon and she found me on Google. And she said, see, I was actually, and she needed that work to actually break through, to break free from that situation she was in. And, but it was guided through some other medium. So it's that if you're ready, open your heart and say, I want to heal. And you will be shown a lot of resources that is available for you. We just want to ask. It's like ask and you shall receive. It's the true statement.
Right. So, what's one message of hope or insight that you want listeners to take away from your story?
I would say we always, every day, get a choice. And that is so powerful that if you have this choice in the morning, that how my day will look like. And if you choose that today, I'll have a wonderful day. I'll spend the most memorable day. And you will see that this choice in the morning you made, you are actually manifesting that in the day. So our thoughts, our mind, our talk, words are very, very
Right.
powerful. So if we are saying something to ourselves, we are listening. It's not that we are not. So you are actually taking it. So why not to choose that powerful words? Why not to brush your teeth and say, I am worthy, I am divine, I am healthy, and whatever you choose to be, just reflect that in your words, in your action, everything that should tells you that yes, I want to be this, and you in no time you will be that.
I love that, Ameenah. So, last question before this didn't even feel like an interview at all. But last thing before we wrap it up. So, you talk a lot about the subconscious and a lot of things that we think it actually comes into pass. So, for an example, if you're thinking about something or someone and you have a dream about them, does that mean you guys are connected? Does that mean like what you are putting into your subconscious is just showing up in your dreams?
So I would say there are two types of dreams. So one is definitely that what we are thinking, and one is basically that we are connected to the information that is available in the universe. Okay, and you can definitely figure it out, but we have this power within us that if you're thinking about someone, okay, you are actually sending, it's like a same radio signals or wi-fi signals, that if you are basically focused on somebody, let's and that person is getting that vibes, they might see you in their dream and they have some kind of message to reach out to you. And we actually do that in exercises, and I usually do it with my daughter as well. We in the night, everybody can use that. So we in the night, we initially we were just telling, okay, you can think of any animal or picture or an alphabet, and I will actually tell you what you are thinking. Okay, and initially we can give that little easier one, like we can choose three and we are saying, okay, red, green, and blue colors. Okay. Now think about whatever color you want me to perceive and focus on that. Focus hardly on that. And when you are focused on that, I receive the image of it. Okay. And then most of the time, because now, of course, I teach that too, but I see my daughter getting trained into that, and she is 80% correct with that. So imagine that if we are doing it more and more and more, we are actually able to send messages like that. And it was in the ancient time. There was no technology, but people were actually getting access to other people with their thoughts. So when you have someone in your dream, it might be possible that person wanted you to connect to them. Okay. And sometimes it can also be like that you are thinking about that person, then that person will also get this message. So it's like always some kind of connection when we have dreams, and we are always connected to each other. Even in at one point, even if we have sexual encounter with anybody, we carry their energy for 7 years. Okay, and that's why I always tell my clients that no casual relationship, don't think that it's just for fun. It's actually can lead to that entanglement for that long, and if you don't like that person, imagine that you are actually carrying that energy for that long.
Right. Many years. Wow. So is there any way you would like the audience to connect with you, Ameenah?
Yeah, I am very much active on my social media as well. Ameenah Thobani is my name, and my website is www.positiveenlightenment.ca. I am on LinkedIn. I am on Threads. I am on Instagram, and YouTube also. I am on YouTube. Very very small channel. I am not very much active on YouTube, but yes, I am very much practicing my work. And I'm not an social media therapist. I am a therapist that is outside of that too, and people reach me through Google as well. So if you search me through Google, you will also find my name, and I am residing in Vancouver, Canada. So yeah, and you can also in this podcast, I'm sure that Tanir will be putting my website, so you can always connect
Yes.
through the website to
It
me.
will be linked in the description. Now, last question, just in case an audience member wants to know, is the hypnotherapy, can you do it virtual or is that an in-person tool?
Oh, so I do it both because I moved to Canada some 10 years ago before I was in Middle East. So my there were so many clients in the Middle East, and they wanted to pursue, because initially I was doing in person and I did not know that whether it's work or not work. So way before COVID, we switched to online as well. So my clientele from Middle East was actually taking sessions. At that time we had Skype, not even Zoom. So we do both things, like uh, in person and online. And I have seen a tremendous result because I have audience all over the world. And yes, the COVID gave us more exposure to it because then everything switched to it. But right now I am open for in person and online both. Um, yeah, so both are very much welcome.
Amazing. So we're going to wrap it up, everyone. Thank you for joining us on Her Story Untold Studios today. We explored the deep and often unspoken layers of trauma, healing, and transformation. Remember, even in our most broken moments, there's always a path forward, sometimes through unexpected places like meditation or a past life experience. Healing is a journey that looks different for everyone. With the right tools, faith, and resilience, it's always possible to find hope and wholeness. Until next time, keep rising, keep healing, and keep rewriting your story. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe so I can continue to put out videos like this that's inspiring many. Until then, bye.
Bye.